Okay, so we've talked about what an emergency fund is, we've talked about why it matters, and how much you might need. But now we're getting to the part that really matters, the big question of how do I actually build it? So this section is called Building Your Fund because it doesn't matter how motivated you are if you don't have a plan. And the good news, everyone can build an emergency fund. Everyone. Even if you're starting with $0. We're going to talk about starting from scratch, building habits, using technology to your advantage, tracking progress, handling surprise income, and more. Let's dive in. Okay, so this is where we talk about starting from scratch. So first off, what if you're starting with nothing? You're not alone. So many people feel stuck before they begin. But here's the truth. Every single dollar matters. Every dollar is significant. If all you can spare is $5 a week, do it. If it's loose change in a jar, do it. Don't let anyone tell you different. Because the goal right now isn't size, it's momentum. So this slide really just shows some simple encouragement. So starting with $5 a week, saving coins because they add up, and that is real. I've seen people cover $200 worth of bills with their change jar, just loonies, toonies, and quarters, or even saving them up and depositing them into your savings account. As well, just start where you can. You don't need $1,000. You just need to start. I've said it so many times and I'll say it again. You just need to start. So, even if you're starting with $0, you're not behind. You're just beginning. So start small, but start today. Okay, we're back to one of my favorite words again, the P word, the big purpose. So goals actually require purpose. So let's talk about one of the most important, powerful tools in saving is actually just having a clear goal. It's really hard to hit a target that you can't see, okay? So on this slide, it's pretty simple. We just talk about what this process looks like. So for the target, maybe your first goal is only $500. That's awesome. But just make sure that your goal is specific. So if it's $500, make it $500. As well, set a deadline. Give yourself a time frame. Maybe 3 months, maybe 6. But make your goal specific and make your deadline specific as well. Also, me personally, I find it really helps if I can see it daily. Put your goal on your phone lock screen. Stick it on your fridge. Maybe put up a picture in your house on the wall that says your goal, that says the specific number and the specific day. Lastly, it really helps if you track your progress. You can use a chart, some other kind of tracker, or maybe even an app. I like to set little reminders that show up on the top of my screen every couple days so that I actually get a notification that tells me my goal amount and the day that I want to hit it by. Now, that is what I do now. But for example, what I did when I was first trying to save my first $1,000, I actually made a progress bar and I taped it beside my bed on my bedside table. Now, this wasn't anything complicated. It wasn't anything fancy. It was just a piece of paper with a really long rectangle on it. And every $50 that I saved, I would color it in. And you better believe that that thing kept me motivated. I saw it when I woke up. I saw it in the middle of the day. I saw it before bed. I was constantly reminded of my goal and my deadline. So, for a final thought, a goal without a plan is actually just more of a wish. And a goal you can see becomes something that you start chasing down every single day. So talking about building the goals, now we need to talk about building the habit. This is super important. And here's where most people miss it. It's not about saving a lot, it's about saving regularly. So let's use a little example here, okay? So think of going to the gym, going to work out or going to run on the treadmill. You can go one time and absolutely crush a workout. But if you don't go again for 2 months, it's not going to help you. You're not going to grow. You're not going to get anywhere. But if you go consistently, even if you only do a little, that's how strength builds. It's the same with saving. So this slide, really the graph on the top, it just shows how starting in week 1 and going to week 12 and being consistent can grow actually a large savings number. So for example, this chart does $50 a week, and in 3 months, that turns into $600. That's only around $7 a day, and that's a whole fast food meal. That's 2 lattes. Maybe you make coffee at home that week or pack your lunch. It adds up quickly when you're consistent. So saving isn't just a one-time win. It's a habit. It's a muscle. You need to work it. You need to work it out. And the more you use it, the stronger that it gets. Okay, so here's something some people are afraid of, but I can really vouch that this is an effective thing to do. So we call it automation, which is just really a fancy word for saying something happens automatically, regularly, without you needing to do it yourself. Because one of the hardest things about saving is just remembering to do it. Life gets busy, we make plans, we forget, we make excuses. So here's the fix. You automate it. The easiest way to do this is actually through a bank account or through your main account. So most banks or all banks allow you to set up an automatic transfer from your main account where you get your paychecks into your savings account. So like every payday, move $20 or move $30 or $50, just set it up automatically so you don't have to think about it. There's a whole bunch of apps that help you do this, like Coho, Tangerine, or even just your regular bank can actually do this easily. So this is just an example I made up. It is a quote from someone who set up auto payments. And I believe it's going to be a quote from all of you that are viewing this. So I set up $20 every Friday to move into savings automatically. It adds up without me even thinking about it. This is no stress, no thinking, and weeks later, they had hundreds saved. So don't be afraid of technology. Let technology help you win. You have to allow it to. So set it and forget it. Tracking your progress is huge. Do you ever start something, you feel like it's not working, and then you just quit? Yeah, that's why tracking is so powerful. There are tons of ways to track your progress. You can use apps like Mint or even your bank account. You can use spreadsheets. There's physical tools that you can use, like a chart on your wall or saving jars, or what I like to call a goal thermometer. It's really just the idea of a thermometer, how a thermometer goes up as it gets hotter. So you could just do that on a piece of paper even. But make sure that you celebrate your milestones too. This should be fun. Building savings needs to be enjoyable. So maybe at 10% of your goal, when you hit that, you treat yourself. You go get some ice cream. Or maybe at 20%, you go get some takeout. Or 30%, you go find your friends or someone that you like and you go have a movie night. Make sure to treat yourself because it's not about guilt. It's about celebrating progress and staying motivated. If you make sure to celebrate little milestones, it might motivate you to get to the next milestone so you can do something fun again. Progress is addicting, especially when you can see it and you can track it. Once you see that number grow in your savings account, you will want to keep going. So the crazy thing about money that will never change, and I don't think it'll ever change for me, is money seems to just come and go and come again and go again, and then I'll have a lot of money and then I'll have no money. And money flows. So you need to manage your cash flow. You need to be aware of the specific and key dates that you can predict money is going to flow out or flow in. I'm sure you've tried to save money and then it gets pulled right back out for bills. So that's why timing matters. So this slide, it shows a very simple principle. Just know when your payday lands, know when your bills come out, and then align your automatic saving transfers to match that. So in this little calendar here, I've kept it to just weekdays to keep it simple. But let's say the Tuesday on the first week of the month, your rent is due. But then on Friday, you get your payday. So then on Monday, you set, okay, save day, there's going to be money going out. Or if you want to be even better, before you spend money on the weekend, you could make your save day, when you transfer money over, you could make it the same as your payday. And then the next Friday, you have a phone bill. And then the next Tuesday, you have an electricity or a hydro bill. But then you get another payday and you have another save day. So if you get paid on Friday, but rent comes out on Monday, maybe do your savings transfer on Saturday. That way you're not undoing any of your progress. So it's not just about saving money. It's about managing your money flow so you can keep what you save. Let's talk about one of the most powerful overlooked moments in personal finance. We call these one-time cash opportunities. We actually like to call them windfalls. It's just kind of a cliche type term. They're really those moments when you get a little extra money that you weren't even planning on. So think about like a tax refund or a birthday gift or a bonus at work, or maybe even selling something you forgot that you had. We call these one-time cash opportunities. So here's the key. How you respond to that windfall can either help you build your fund or it can keep you stuck in the same cycle. So to break it down, we have a 3-part Venn diagram here. This visual, I'm calling it the windfall power moves, because when you get a windfall, you should be making power moves, not steps backwards. So at the top of the diagram, we've got unexpected money. That's the windfall itself. It came from nowhere and now it's in your hands. Then on the left, we have smart decision making. That's your mindset. Are you thinking ahead? Are you weighing short-term satisfaction versus long-term gain? And finally, the big blue one on the right, you have goal-driven mindset. So this one is all you. This is about vision. You know where you're headed. You've got goals. Maybe building your emergency fund, paying off debt, or starting an investment. Now, right in the middle of those 3 circles is the sweet spot, the windfall power moves. That's when everything aligns, when a windfall meets wisdom and purpose. But how do you get there? So let's look at the yellow sections, the spaces where 2 of those 3 ideas overlap. These are the bridges to get to that center of windfall power moves. So the first one on the top left, opportunity for acceleration. This happens when your windfall meets your goals. You get surprise money and you know what you want to do with it. That means you can fast track your savings. Maybe you're going to save $50 a month towards your emergency fund, but then you get a $500 tax refund and boom, now you're 10 months ahead. Think of it like a highway on-ramp. Most of the time you're driving slow, but a windfall gives you that acceleration lane, a chance to speed up safely and get ahead financially. Now let's look to the yellow triangle on the right side that says strategic choices. This is when you pair up unexpected money with smart thinking. You stop and ask, what's the best use of this money? So instead of spending a $300 bonus on impulse buys or a new dress or a cool suit or shoes, you could divide it actually. $150 to savings, $100 to debt, and $50 for a nice night out at the movies. And I keep using movies because I love going to the movies. It's not about being rigid, it's about being strategic. So the third one, the third yellow triangle at the bottom there that says intentional saving. This is where smart decision making meets a goal-driven mindset. It's not about reacting. It's all about planning. You already know your purpose, your priorities. So when a windfall comes in, you don't hesitate. You automatically save because that is your plan and your plan is in place. So here's a story from my life. A woman, actually my mom's friend, she used to spend every single tax refund on clothes or tech. And we always knew because at that exact same time of year, she would upgrade everything and she'd show it off and it was flashy. However, one year we noticed things were a little different, clearly because she decided to do something different. She put the entire tax refund into her emergency fund. And I know this because my mom asked her about it. A few months later, her fridge actually broke. And probably for one of the first times ever, she didn't need her credit card. So that one decision changed the way that she thought about money. From then on, we didn't really see her buying all these flashy stuff every year during tax return season. So clearly, I think she was saving. The bottom line is this: use your windfalls wisely. They can be very rare, but they can be very powerful. And when you combine unexpected money with intentionality and vision, you don't just save, you actually accelerate your progress. Okay, let's talk about one of the actual easiest ways to save money. It's so easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's called saving through your paycheck or saving through work. I personally love this one too because my whole life readjusts based on what's happening here. So here's how it works. When your job or your employer pays you, usually, especially depending on your setup, that money usually goes straight into your bank account through direct deposit. But what many people don't realize is that you can ask your employer to split that deposit between two accounts. So instead of your entire paycheck going into your checking account or whatever account that you use for all of your daily expenses, you could send part of it, let's say $100 a month, straight into your savings automatically. It's like setting up a system that saves for you before you ever even see the money. So you don't have to deal with temptation. You don't have to deal with forgetting it. No excuses like, I'll do it later. Just automatic progress. Let me give you a quick analogy if you're having trouble understanding this. So say you're at a restaurant, you ordered a big old bowl of pasta, except you ask the server to box up half of your meal before it even gets to the table. You're not tempted to overeat because it's already packed away for later. Same with saving through work. If it never shows up in your spending account, you're way more likely to actually keep it. And even if your job doesn't offer automatic splitting, or if you're a freelancer or a part-time worker, the principle still applies. You can make your own rules. Every time I get paid, I move 10% into savings, non-negotiable, or make some other kind of rule like that for yourself. Something that you'll stick to, something that you can hit and that you will hit, but it's on you to be consistent. It's not on your employer anymore. But also, here's the truth. It doesn't have to be a big amount. What really matters, like I've said before, is consistency. Over time, those small automatic choices stack up big. This is about paying yourself first, right from the source. And it's one of the smartest ways to build savings without relying on any willpower. So if you can, try to split your paychecks and send some into your bank account and some into your savings account so that you don't have to think about it. It just takes place and you don't deal with the temptation. Make this easy for yourself. That's the biggest point. Now, we do need to be real. Your life changes, and for most people, it changes pretty often. Maybe you get a new job, or maybe you actually move to a new city. Maybe you even have a baby, or maybe your rent just went up. Every time something shifts in your life, your money habits should shift a little bit too. And that includes your savings plan, not just your spending. Here's what people sometimes miss. Your savings rate isn't set in stone because you picked it. And it's not about picking a number and sticking to it forever until the day you die. It's about checking in with your current reality and adjusting when things change. So think of your savings plan kind of like your wardrobe or your closet where you keep all your clothes. The coat that fit you last winter might not be the right fit this year, or the style from last winter might not be what you want to wear this year. The same goes for your finances. When your income or expenses change, your savings plan might need a little tailoring. For example, let's say you land a new job and you're making money. You're making more money. That right there is not an opportunity to just save what you've been saving. That's an opportunity to bump up your savings rate, even if it's just a few extra dollars a week. Or on the flip side, if your hours at work get cut or your expenses go up, it's also okay to scale back a little bit for a season. The key is to stay engaged, not to give up. It's just to adjust with what's going on in your life right then and there. Flexibility doesn't mean inconsistency. It means being wise and responsive. So whenever life changes, take a few minutes to ask yourself, does my savings plan still fit my life right now? And that one question can keep you on track through every season that you face, whether good or bad, whether lacking or plentiful. Okay, so we have hit another pause moment, another talk it over moment. So same thing goes if you're in a classroom, you got some jobs, and if you're watching online, you got some jobs. So if you're in the classroom, do what we're going to call the habit swap and share. So find maybe a partner or 2 to 3 people or 4 people, however big you want, and talk about what is one small daily or weekly expense that you could reduce or you could cut out to save more. Share ideas with the group who has the most creative or doable swap. Maybe make it a little competition. Throw in some candies for whoever gets voted the best one. Then discuss how to turn that into a habit. Try and figure out what helps people stick with savings. And if you're online, open up your notebook again or your note app or whatever you've been using and write out your weekly income and list how much you could realistically save every week, even if it's only $5. Write something. You writing something is the next step to your future. Then choose a day of the week to transfer it. So I want you to fill in this little sentence at the bottom there that says, my micro saving plan, dollar amount every number of days. And as well, a little bonus I've thrown in there, try and name your emergency account something cool. Come up with a creative name for it that makes it more fun, makes it more enticing to do, something that you can look at and maybe smile when you see it every day. For example, I've named mine Millionaire Madness because someday I want the goal of being a millionaire, and I think that is complete madness that I will hit it. So I think it's kind of a funny joke for myself. It makes me laugh, and it encourages me to keep track of my savings.